are going to be doing Miss Evil Witch of the Apple Orchard. I got her on Amazon. I think I just typed in Evil Witch and she came up. Isn't she absolutely fab? I can't remember how much I paid for her. Probably too much, but it was one of those things that, you know, I had to have again. And I also got some other stuff to go with it. So on Amazon as well, I just typed in creepy witch hands and these came up. These are plastic, but I thought so these were not together. These were separate. Like I said, I just typed in creepy witch hands, but the hands suited her so well. So these are her hands. I made myself this sign. Isn't that great? And then we're going to be using some fabric mesh. We're going to be using some cosmic tulle. We're going to be using some really fun ribbons. And I also made my own apples. Well, I think they look like apples. They were peaches. I had a whole bunch of peaches, fake artificial peaches that I bought, and we still had some left. So I spray painted the peaches red. And then I sprayed spray glue on them after they dried and put red glitter. Then I took this, I don't know, it was just an old stem thing. I keep everything. But what I did is I snip off the wire because it kind of looked like apple leaves, right? And then watch this. So I only glittered one side of the peach. Now I didn't, the peach has that crease or crevice in the middle. We don't want that because the apple doesn't. So I just did the other side of the peach. And then I'm just going to take this that I snipped off. And we'll cut one of these leaves off. Hold on. And there we go. Voila. An apple. How cool. I'm going to glue that stem in there. And that was my quick way of making apples. So I made 3 of them. So we have 3 sparkly apples. Not bad, eh? Okay, so this is the large board. And I'm going to be using, this is the back of it. So you can see a little bit better. I'm using black zip ties because I'm using like a black mesh. And I cut my mesh. Now this is a fabric mesh with a red metallic in it. And I cut 12 of them at 24 inches long. And what I've done is on row 2, okay, row 2, I put a zip tie down and up. Right where the number 1, right where the number 2 is, I skipped a hole and then I put a zip tie in. Skip, zip tie, skip, zip tie, all the way around row 2. So there's 8 on row 2. Then we totally skipped row 3. And then on row 4, I did 4. So I went, you see where there's no zip tie? I skipped here and then I put a zip tie here. That way when I put my mesh in, everything is covered. Okay, so 8 on row 2 and 4 on row 4. So when you flip it over, that's what it looks like. Okay. I wanted to put a pop of green somewhere in the wreath, but not too much because there is green. There is green in the sign that I made. So I just want to put a little bit of green in there. So I'm using this cosmic tool. It is a 6-inch roll. This is what it looks like. And it's metallic. So there's no glitter. It's actually metallic. So nothing falls off. So I did cut it at 16 inches, 12 pieces. And what I'm going to do with this is just going to give it my wreath a little bit hint of green in there. I have 12 pieces of this diamond harlequin black and white. I got 12 pieces of the red and black harlequin, and I got 12 pieces of this green cosmic mat tool or mesh, whatever it's called. So I have a piece of this 24-inch mesh. I'm going to be using a piece of the green, and I'm going to take one of each of these ribbons. So I'm going to pre-prep everything. So I've already cut my mesh, so it's ready to go. And I'm going to fold my ribbons to have them ready to go too. So I'm just making little ribbon packets, I guess you would call it. All right, so I have my ribbons ready to go. Okay, let's get this baby started. So, like I said, 12 zip ties. I'm just going to make a ruffle. So you're just going to pinch like an accordion right up the center of your mesh. So it's this big old bow tie. And then I'm going to put a clothespin on it. I'm going to take a piece of this green, and I have my ribbon. I probably should have used pipe cleaners. It would have been a lot easier. But as you all know, I love zip ties. It's nice and neat on the back, and I know my stuff is in there if I do it with a zip tie. So what I've done is just put the mesh right over top of the zip tie. I'm going to go I got this that green cosmic mesh. And then my tails. So I'm going to scrunch up the middle where I folded the tails, just like that. Okay, and I'm going to take this green, and I'm putting it right in between these tails. So the green kind of just sticks out from underneath the tails. So it's not a ton of green, but you see it's in there. And then what I'm going to do is put the zip tie right around the whole thing. Now, again, you can use pipe cleaners. It's probably much, much easier with pipe cleaners. But I like how tight I can get it. So I have a ruffle here and a ruffle on the outside. Okay. So we got green there, and we got our ribbon tails. And a little bit of green just sticking out. I think that's going to look so cool. All right, we're going to do the same thing for each set of zip ties. So I'm doing a big long ruffle. Just going straight up the middle. Hopefully you guys can see this with my dark. So there's my ruffle. Okay. I'm putting the center of my ruffle right on the zip tie, and I'm just going to put it over a clothespin. Now, like I said, you can use a pipe cleaner or something, and with the pipe cleaner, you can twist them in. So you can twist the mesh in and then go ahead and twist your ribbon tails and stuff in. I'm kind of doing it all in one swoop. So we build our wreath as we go here. And as you see, I don't know if you noticed, I really do my ribbon tails a little different than others. I kind of step them. So I just want this green creepy cosmic stuff in behind my tails. So I've folded them, putting it right on top, and then I'm just going around with my zip tie. Okay, so that's all we're going to do for the 12 times we're doing this. Okay, fix all our mesh. Pull out our tails. I don't know why I'm fixing the tails, because I'm going to squish them all trying to put this face on. Okay, so this is our base. And like I said, if you had a sign, you could just put a sign in the center. And you got a pretty cool wreath base without using a ton of stuff. But of course, I'm extra, and we're not leaving it like that because we got to add her. So it is hollow. Obviously, you can see that. Let me move this out of the way for a sec. Okay, so it's hollow, and I'm going to somehow attach it to the board. Now, I want to stuff her hat. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's kind of see-through, and I want to stuff it so it stands up, because that kind of makes her the Snow White witch, right? So what I'm going to stuff it with is black plastic garbage bag. And you're like, what? Plastic. If it does get damp or whatever, it'll dry. It won't hold the moisture. And B, it's black. I want it to be black in there. I got this on Amazon. I believe I typed in evil witch. So this is just a normal black trash bag. So I'm going to stuff this in here. Just like that. So the face is around. I got the plastic up in her hat. So as you can see that now, her hat is still pointy. Okay. And then I think I'm going to do another garbage bag so her face doesn't smush down. There we go. Now she's stuffed. And you'll see any of my videos where I've stuffed things, I always use like grocery bags or something like that. And look, it's perfect. Now she sits up nicely. Okay, I'm just going to overlap this. And then hot glue it. I'm just going to lightly close it so my bags don't fall out. All right. She is ready to go. Of her head. Come on. My pipe cleaner would just stay. There we go. There's one. No, we don't want to just glue it on. We want to secure it somehow. Am I crazy out of the box thinking? There. Yes, queen. All right. Let's get her on the base. Oh, there's my top is up here. Okay. I'm going to take my pipe cleaners and I want her right in the center. So there's my hanging holes. So I probably just going to go down the hole where the zip tie is for the first pipe cleaner. There's one. Two. And this is a good way to, when you're attaching these things, to make sure that it's centered too, if you want your design to be centered. All right. Let's just give it a twist because I don't want to do that again. All right, I'm going to go back down and dig these two holes. So something like this, you wouldn't want to just glue on because it is the main focal point of your wreath, and your customer would be really upset if they paid a lot of money for it and then all of a sudden her head fell off. So you want to make sure. All right, I got it. Perfect. Exactly where I wanted it. So there's the top part. Give her a good twist here. Alrighty. She is pretty cool. And she is on there. Okay. Whew. Yeah, my ribbons are pretty much. Wait till the end for that. I'm going to glue these down. It's her collar. And these do have a hole in them, so I can zip tie or probably pipe cleaner her hands right to the board. I'm just placing them where I think they need to go. So right there. So I'm just going to put a pipe cleaner. I'm also going to use glue, but I want to make sure the hands are secured and not just glued on either. So they do have a hole in them. And you got to make sure your thumbs are facing up properly when you're using hands like this. I remember doing a Frankenstein and I had his hands, his thumbs going downwards. Yeah, that's a good idea. The apple in one hand. Okay, so the other hand, I'm going to make sure it goes in these holes. That way I know the hands are spaced out. But I do. Okay, so I will be gluing it, but the hands are secured. This hand. So I want them to be over here. There we go. So making sure her hands are symmetrical. Oh shoot, I forgot to put the cable mount for my sign. I'm just going to use one cable mount because I'm also going to glue the sign to the collar here. Okay, so we got 2 apples. Need one more apple. So these were peaches, and I spray painted them red. And after they dried, I used I sprayed it with a little bit of spray adhesive, and then I sprinkled red glitter onto the apple so they were sparkly. And then I have this old, I don't even know what it was. It just has green leaves on it, and that's what I used for the stem. And voila, I made my own apples. There we go. An apple. These are really lightweight. They are just styrofoam, but you can just use a pin, floral pin and a pipe cleaner on the back and push it in. All right. Our apples are prepped. Our sign is prepped. She is almost ready to go. We're putting some length on this pipe cleaner. So I just cut another pipe cleaner in half. There we go. Much better. So just a little tip, if you pull your board off your table, you'll be able to see the holes much better. The holes that you're looking for. trying to still pull my tails out so you can see them. So I'm going to put some glue under the sign as well. Okay, so I'm going to glue the apple to, it's fitting right in the crook here of her hand. So I'm going to glue the apple to there and then the apple to the sign. Okay, so I'll let that sit. All right, and then I'll glue the bottom of the apple to the sign. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue just on the back of her, on her hand here. So this glue will attach to the mesh. And then put a little bit of glue where her hand touches the sign as well. I think we're solid. We're pretty good there. Okay, let's turn it around so you guys can see so far what we got. Oh my God, she's cool. Look at that face. It's like Dave in the morning. Okay, and then I'm going to put an apple up here. Again, you could just glue it in if you want, but we'll just pipe cleaner this in. Now, I'm not pulling it right in because I don't want it sucked into my wreath, but I do want it attached. And then we'll just glue it. And then we'll put the other one in. On the other side of her. And we are almost done. Oh my God, it is so cool. Oh my gosh, she is so cool. I definitely have to go around and do the ribbon tails and everything. And always, very last thing you always do is fix your ribbon tails. Make sure all, if you're going to put them in, make sure that you can see them and that they're nice. And I will do that. I usually do that on my door so I can see it. But I think she almost turned out exactly like I visioned. We have that little pops of green in there, and that's all I wanted. What do you guys think? Is she not fabulous? There she's straight now. And of course, we got all kinds of stuff on the back. So if you're using pipe cleaners, what you're going to want to do, I'll show you one. Pipe cleaner, cut some of it off, feed the end of it down the hole because we want to keep the back nice and neat. Okay, just like that. And then I put a little bit of glue down in the hole, and that keeps your pipe cleaner down there. So I will finish up cleaning the back up here. I have to loosen this sign a little bit from my pipe cleaner because it's a little too tight. And I would do my ribbons, tails, and pretty her up. But there she goes. I think she's fabulous. She is so cool. There's her hands, and the one hand holding the apple. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope you like this. Again, just thinking outside the box, and you can make so many cool, fun things. And it doesn't have to be super expensive, right? Okay, guys, we'll talk to you later. And again, thanks for joining me. Bye, everybody.